Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Evan. Thank you.
Marc, you've been seen to support the Steenkamp family. Yeah. It must have been a very difficult last couple of weeks. I saw towards the end of it yesterday that the Steenkamps, they looked a little bit fatigued and almost glad that this terrible ordeal is now over. How do you view it now, 24 hours later?
Yeah, I think reality sets in. You see the pictures of inmates that are in orange uniforms. I think Oscar's there now. He's eating prison food. But I think, when you break it down more, I think the sentence was very, very light. And I think, it was. It's been a long process. And I mean, Mr. Steenkamp's been there the whole time. Mr. Steenkamp, I've only met them through the trial. I'd known Reeva and I was a friend of Reeva, and obviously that's why I was supporting the whole thing. But, just to see the dignity that they held between them, and that, they never were aggressive towards anybody in the court. They especially Mr. Steenkamp, he's just like one of the nicest men you'll ever meet, and he was just so humble with everything. And I think that's where, a lot of swords would cross, because, the Pistoriuses weren't. They were hostile in the court. They would always try and intimidate people. They would stare people down. I mean, Amy acts like the big victim. She stares at everybody, all the girls there, Gina Myers, Kim Myers. She did it to me and Jared Mortimer, but obviously we can handle it. But so I think came to an end where, they just said justice has been done. I heard Mr. Steenkamp say if that's justice, then they've got to live with it. But personally, I just think it's way too short, and I think definitely the state's going to appeal.
Marc, you spoke about the Pistorius family staring people down. We had an incident with a friend of yours, Micah Schultz, who also supported you and the family in the courtroom. What happened there? It's almost like after that they did an interview, the Pistorius family, and they painted themselves as a victim in this case. That's a little bit rich, wouldn't you say? Well,
and it's exactly that, and not to, because Mikey is my friend, he's one of my best mates, and they came to support me and Jared, and he hadn't been in that courtroom. On the Tuesday, it's the first time he ever went there. We sat at the back, and we were helping the state with some of the witnesses. That's, Mr. Nell and Andrew Lees, all those guys. I mean, they were help when Mikey had his troubles. They were part of the prosecuting team then. So he had a big friendship with them, and that's how we got involved in the whole thing. And we did a lot of work behind the scenes, for the state, helping them get witnesses there, witnesses they couldn't reach to. We'd go see them, and that was, it wasn't like we want some praise for it. That's what we were doing for the Steenkamps and for the state, and to get justice, which, in the end wasn't really served, I don't think. And that whole boil-up was, Mikey walked in the courtroom, there was no other seats, and him and Mark Stradham sat down on the first available seats. The police actually showed them where to sit. And then Amy started her nonsense again. It's, no one's, I mean, she's, on that day, she was staring at Jared so much. Eventually, Jared said, must I blow her a kiss or something? Because I just want to get off my case, She came up to me in the coffee shop twice and looked me up and down, shook her head like in disgust. And then I just turned and walked away. Twice she did that. I mean, what gives her the right? We're not there against them, We're there for justice. I had an incident with Oscar, but it's not that's not the reason why I'm there. I'm not bitter. Oscar's not a threat in my life. I'm not worried about that thing. I was there because she got shot and she got killed and murdered behind that door like a friend.
And it was a friend of yours.
100%.
I wanted to take you back a couple of years. Here in the media, we heard stories about the famous incidents in the past. A lot of people spoke at that time of Oscar being a train wreck waiting to happen. Was there a time when he threatened you, when there were women involved, with a friend of yours again? Did he threaten you? And was he that kind of aggressive type that was spoiling for a fight, as it were?
Yeah, he was always looking for it. And I mean, he swore at me, he threatened me, he said he's going to break my legs. And they had, I eventually we got called into General Sabier's office for that whole thing. And then they realised he had phoned me twice. They thought, because they had painted a picture that I had, created this thing with Oscar. And it was again over a friend, he threatened a friend of mine, Quentin van den Berg. He threatened him on 2 or 3 occasions. Even after everything was settled, he still saw him afterwards at Shimmy's in Cape Town, and he had another go at him, And Hougaard and Kevin Arena to pull him off, and Quentin's not a confrontational guy at all, and he just, even sold his tickets for that New Year's party, and he just said, I'm going back home, I don't need this in my life, and he diffused the whole thing, but Oscar was keep baiting for it, and when I got involved, as I said, and we got called to the cops, and the cops said, you got a national soccer player, you got a national athlete, and we'd take these kind of things, these kind of threats high, and then I realised. He had obviously said to me, I'd phoned them. Then when they pulled the records of all the phones and they'd found out, and there's minutes there. So, my side was clear. But he did. He threatened to break my legs, and he was going to smash me, and he's not scared of me, and he knows I'm with Mike. He's not scared of any of us, and, just baiting the whole time. But he went on, phoned me twice, screamed and shouted, ranted and raved. I actually laughed at him, I just put the phone down.
That really puts a different spin on this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, why do you think this kind of thing didn't come out in the courtroom? And what do you make of the incident with Jared Mortimer? I think it was at VIP room in the middle of the trial. What kind of person does that sort of thing?
Well, Gil also, and Gil was one of his good friends, and I mean, even Gil was in the courtroom that day to just go tell the truth, because Oscar had said that he was with his cousin, and he wasn't with his cousin. He was with Gil, and they'd met at Marc Batchelor first, and they downed a couple of drinks, and Gil had asked him the question. He said, "Why do you want to go out? It's in the middle of your trial." And he said, "No, I just want to go out. I want to get out." And then Gil said, "Well, you're not doing the right thing." And anyway, they went there, and then the incident with Jared, and Jared challenged him to a polygraph. I challenged him to a polygraph, you know. And you know, even talking on that, why, if you're so innocent, why didn't he say, I know it's got nothing to do and you can't prove it in the court of law, but just to clear his own head, say, listen, if I didn't murder her, if I didn't kill her in cold blood the way we saw it, and should have got murder one, then why didn't he say, listen, I'm willing to take a polygraph just to clear my name? But he never did it, because we know what the truth was, and they had an argument and a fight, and he had another rage, and that's the thing, that's the scary thing, is that this could have happened at any time. And I mean, Samantha Taylor was nearly 2 years with him. It could have happened to her. You know, his other girlfriend, Melissa Rom, same thing. All the same stories come out, and that's a sad thing. And that's, you know, Reeva that should never have happened. And it's, you know, it's a sad day that she's gone, and he gets 5 years and will do 10 months.
What do you think of the sentence, firstly? And secondly, tell us about this journey. You know, you guys have been in similar circles, similar sort of restaurants over the years. Yeah. If not Reeva, do you believe that someone else would have taken a bullet at the hands of Oscar Pistorius?
I think so. In my opinion, and in the view of a lot of people, it was just waiting to happen. And I think on their day, they got into their speculation now about that iPhone that Carl had. But now the only people that will know on that phone is the three of them, Oscar, Carl, and Reeva. And Reeva can't talk. And that's what makes me sad, is that, you know, we were trying to be a voice for her, and then you get put victimized. What are you guys doing there? What are you doing in court? I was a state witness, and I'm a friend of hers, and I'm supporting the family. So, you know, that answered a lot of people, but everybody that was there was just trying to be a voice for her. And I think she's been forgotten far too early in this whole thing. And, you know, tomorrow everybody will turn over the pages, and she will be forgotten. And that is sad, because her life was just starting. But the sentence and the conviction, just to answer your questions, were both wrong, in my view. I think murder won, and they're going to come back to that. You know, when they say in Latin, this murder dossiers, whatever how they pronounce it, but they and I listened to Manny Witz, and I spoke to him yesterday, and they've got to clear it all up, because, you know, the way she still said in her sentencing, when she did the sentencing, on the conviction side, she's got it wrong, because I understand that she's going on, that she said that you know, both sets of witnesses, the statements and the defence, there's too many discrepancies. But on his testimony alone, she said, you're a terrible witness, you lied under oath, you're evasive. You know, she threw a whole lot of questions at him that she was worried about, and said, how if you're 2 meters away from the door? And I mean, I sat in that courtroom, that, you know, 2 meters from that door, and you're screaming, and she said in the accused's own words, at the top of your voice, get out of my house, get out of my house. Why your partner or your girlfriend or who's ever behind, they wouldn't shout back, say, listen, it's me. And then shoot 4 times, not once, but 4 times. You definitely shoot to kill there, and that's why that intent was to kill, and I think that's why the state will appeal on that.
And you see yourself as making some submissions to the state if there's an appeal?
Well, we were going to, all of us were still going to testify on the character. We can't testify on what happened that night, because it had nothing to do with us. Even, you know, Sam Taylor, if you read the book from her mother, that's, you know, on Oscar, and you see what's been on their phones about him. I'll go to counselling. I promise you, I won't do this again. This, you know, so you can see the pattern of events and the pattern that he has. But yeah, we were meant to testify. Jared, myself, and Gina Myers were still going to testify. And then, you know, obviously with all the incidents inside and outside of the courtrooms, Kerry just thought it's better just, you know, rest the case. And I think he did his job again. And I think the state did their job on the conviction, and they got the wrong conviction, and the judge got the wrong sentencing. So, state did their job.
Well, we'll know within the next week or so when this goes down. But Marc, thank you very much for joining us. I know you had great difficulty to get here this morning. There's a lot of roadworks out where you live, but thanks for coming through for us.
Thanks.